Okay, but like, what if? There's no way, dude. I swear to God, not on your life, son. Go off, but I am speechless. Why would you do that? Honestly, that's a power move. People are wild. Hey, we all have those moments, right? This is why I need friends. If you're not an absolute freak, stay the hell away. I know it's not just me. What the hell are we even doing here? And it was pretty much all downhill from there. Good morning, Vietnam! I am so excited. Hi, hey, hello. Oh my God, what's good? I know it's been a million freaking years. You could probably tell by how Rapunzel-like my hair is. It's so... I'm shedding like you wouldn't believe, actually. I'm so excited, not only to be sitting down and filming this, because I literally just now on my camera, I had 2.5 other times I tried to film this same freaking episode and it's just not worked out, okay? Literally the first time was in fucking June, or at the end of June, when I initially proposed the concept of this, which is liars, okay? That's what we're talking about. We're talking about fibbers, grifters, people that tell a white lie here and there. We're gonna talk about everyone's experience with it, because I had a bunch of people write in, and thank you for those of you who did. Really interesting stuff. But before we get to that, I need to take a minute. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Frankie, oh my God, I thought a podcast was an audio medium first and foremost, because I haven't published any of my other videos, or excuse me, my other episodes of podcasts to the YouTubes, which I'm gonna do with this one. And you're probably like, you know, kind of wish you didn't, because you look like a lean cuisine mid defrost, and you're right. But do you know why? Do you know why I look like this? Well, first off, for those of you who are only on the audio medium, I am in a hoodie, not mine, of a band I've never listened to, hair wet, look like a sad little dog that was rescued off the street, studio, which admittedly you can't even see that much of. It's been absolutely friggin' catastrophized by Halloween. But do you know what that means? It means November is here. November is here and October is over. That, yeah, a clear observation of the passage of time. But what that means to me is huge. It's huge. I can't even, the English language truly fails me to be able to describe just how monumental this is for me, because, oh my God, I get so much of my life back. I really don't think anybody who has worked with me on The Haunt will listen to this episode or know that this podcast even exists, to be honest. But Jesus fucking Christ, if you went to a haunted house ever, I'll just say ever, the amount of work that goes into it is so crazy and nothing I even imagined. Like, genuinely, I've been to a number of haunted houses over the course of my lifetime. I will say, I personally, much like many I know that also worked on The Haunt, I'm not scared. Like, I crave for it so hard. I want to be one of those people. Like last night, this girl in tears, needing to be consoled by the 4 friends that she was with. Oh my God. I wish I could receive that kind of fear from a haunted house, from something as simple as someone with like fake blood on their face and makeup. Oh my God, if I could have that, oh, what a world it would be. What a life to live. Unfortunately, I'm hardened, and the only things that truly terrify me are the catastrophes of the world, and they don't. We'll get there. Anyway, October is over. Thank fuck. I'm so sorry. I'm trying so hard not to yell into this microphone, but thank God! I'm so excited. This means so much, because I get to do things I actually enjoy again. Not to say that I didn't enjoy The Haunt. The Haunt was fun, but holy fucking shit. Like I said, it's just so much work. If you've ever worked on a haunt, write in, comment below. I want to know your experience, because obviously there are different varying degrees of responsibility with the haunt, and I didn't even have the hardest of jobs, okay? But for context, what I did do was social media for it. I was an actor in it partially, and for the other part in which I was not an actor, I was helping facilitate photos and stuff. And holy shit, it's so much. It is so much. And we had 3 different attractions within the haunt itself. So it's like you go to one destination, you get 3 different haunted houses. So worth your money, I suppose. Again, I wish so badly I could be scared. I wish I could be scared like a normie, but I don't. I am hardened and jaded, and I guess that's why I choose to work on them now. But holy mother of God, I fucking did something. Okay, so in one of the haunts, so when I first started to act in it, I was fine. I was sore because I was hunched over. I'm also in a like Victorian style outfit and in a corset, and I'm hunching over and I'm being like, creepy crawly, and my hands hurt to hell and back because I had rings on and I'm smacking the walls and stuff, and that's fine, right? What hurt the most was the fact that the teeth that I made were teeth I made, I want to say like 3 years ago. So your teeth, unless you actively wear your retainers every night, which I know none of you do, they move. They're on the go, and holy shit, my teeth were not the same as 3 years ago when I made them. And so just pressing them in there, in a word, I chihuahua. That fucking hurted. That shit hurted, dog. And that aside, the next time I scared, which was at a different portion of the same haunt, I was essentially, I want you to get up right now. Stop what you're doing. Get out of the car if you're listening to this on the road. Step up in your cubicle. Whatever you're doing, I need you to stand up, take your deepest squat, and then jump up and propel yourself 3 feet forward, at least. And do that for 3 hours, because that's exactly what I did when I was in this one particular room. And was it worth it? Yeah, I scared the absolute pants off some of these people. And it was really well suited for this particular area because we had a couch and so many, I'm talking entire families, friend groups. What I love most of all is getting the grown men to shriek and fall down. And they would all fall into this couch. And then I, get close and like tower over them. Obviously we don't touch them. That's a big thing everyone's always so worried about, and they would ask me if I was ever at the front or doing pictures. They're like, they don't touch us, right? No one's touching you. You didn't sign a waiver. This isn't, what's that one called, Macamee Manor, which I heard the documentary is out and I need to watch that. Because I remember a couple years ago, I think it was 2020, 2021, where I found out what the fuck that was. I did a deep dive on all of the people that survived it on YouTube, and other people that were just had morbid curiosity like me being like, hey, what the fuck is this? I'm so convinced that man, because he gets everyone's like to waive their right to be filmed and everything. I am so convinced that he is filming it, and if not directly streaming it, is putting it on a hard drive somewhere, and it is being shown at the top floor of an embassy suite in a room in Las Vegas or the Philippines or somewhere around the world. Like, dark money is in that room, like absolute sick fucks where you like have no one to say no to you. These are the rich people that I think that consume this kind of stuff. No one says no to you. So in order to get the thrills and the dopamine rushes, you have to seek out the most taboo, disgusting stuff. And that's the kind of people that watch the footage that he's acquired at Macamee Manor. And I'm glad, more people are talking about him, because yuck. But I need to watch that documentary. But anyway, jump squats, 3 hours. And during that time, my right foot falls asleep. And I'm like, oh gosh, that's because I'm crouching and I'm squatting for so long. Wrong. I pinched a nerve and I can't feel 3 of my toes. And my partner said, maybe it's because of all the pizza you're eating. A side effect of working a haunted house. No one talks to you about the carbo loading that you are going to inevitably do. And I will say it's necessary, if not for my body, for my mental health, because, oh my God, I've eaten so much pizza this last month. And when I tell you, I'm going again. So the one that is open closest to me, it's open till midnight. And the last 2 times, they've only had 1 vegan slice available. And that's not enough. That is simply not enough. So I will be going today, and I will be getting a whole za. And that shit is huge. It's like the state of Rhode Island in a box. It's incredible. So I will be going today, and I will be eating my weight in vegan za. So I can't. I'm so happy that October is over, and I can stop thinking about it. I can stop thinking about social media. I can stop thinking about the content I need to post. I can stop. I'm so excited. I've never been excited for Halloween to be like done and over with. Also, let me just say, I used to live in a place that was the desert, right? So when we carved pumpkins, they were around and well and good, looked pretty new to being carved until like the first week of December sometimes. If it didn't snow, they looked good for a very long time. Weeks on end. I have lived here in the PN Dub, Pacific Northwest, for 3 years now. First year, we moved here in October, so the Halloween was just kind of we need to unpack some boxes, because what's really scary is how old living out of boxes gets after a minute. So that Halloween was very chill. But the past 2, 21, 22, we got pumpkins. We bought them with the intent to carve, obviously, as one does with a gourd, that Gorgina. And we left them in the garage because we're like, we'll carve them. We'll carve them for sure. Absolutely. Nope. They're in there till March. And then once they're finally liquidated and their outsides are now coming forth to the outside, we finally shovel them into a garbage bag and say, we'll get them next year. This year was different. This year, we did not put them in the garage. We put them right on the table, so that front and center. We couldn't take our eyes off them. And I got a pumpkin carving kit. If your significant other is, for whatever fucking reason, under the impression that you can carve a pumpkin with just a regular kitchen knife, I'm so sorry. I'm in the same boat. This is solidarity we're having here in this moment. Oh my God, babe. No. So I took my happy ass to Spirit Halloween and I got a deluxe pumpkin carving kit, and la-di-da, it went so perfectly because I'm not doing it. I'm not carving a fucking pumpkin with an 8-inch serrated blade. You can't make me. And so I sent my partner a voice memo, which I still had it. I would insert it. And I said, hey, babe, because now I work from home. This right here, where you're seeing me, if you're seeing me, where you're hearing me from, at least, this is where I work. I did take today off because it's the day after Halloween. And oh my fucking God, I needed it. Sorry, I'm shouting. Anyway, I sent my partner a voice memo. And I said, hey, babe, when you get home, I am going to hop, skip, and jump over to Spirit Halloween because we made those plans where we said to ourselves, hey, we're carving pumpkins today. We're doing it. No excuses. None. And I said, hey, I am, when you get home, going to take my car and go to Spirit. And I'm going to get a pumpkin carving kit. And in that same voice memo, I said, but then you are going to say to me, Frankie, oh my gosh, no, we don't need that. We literally have knives. We don't even need that at all. And to which I will say, babe, I am not going to use that because they are way too big to be using on these little gourds, and I do not wield the kind of control that I need for the precision in which my artistic ability needs me to execute, okay? So I'm going to Spirit Halloween, and I'm going to spend my money for a pumpkin
carving toolkit. And that is that. And I don't want to hear it. There we go. We had the whole conversation. Thank you so much. And when my partner came home, I heard the words, oh my gosh, when I listened to that voice memo, I thought, no, babe, we have knives at home. And then that's exactly what you said. So it's like we had the whole conversation. And I said, yeah, you know why? Because we already had it. We already had this conversation years ago. Last time we tried to carve pumpkins. We carved pumpkins. We've been together for, I don't know, 1.5 million years. And the first time we carved pumpkins together, not only did we do it in the most uncomfortable setting because we were outside, we went camping in the middle of the desert. Don't ask me. Don't ask me. But basically, I get sad when I'm not outside on a regular basis. Like if I'm inside for too long and just don't go out and literally touch grass, look at moss, touch the bark of a tree, rub my face in some dirt, I get really sad. I get really sad. So if you also do, I'm telling you, go outside. Go outside. I don't care if it's cold, rainy, sunshine. You will feel better. I'm so serious. Get outside. And so this October in which we did that, it was so fucking cold. Why? Because we're in the desert. We're in the desert and it is so cold. Yeah. Newsflash to those that don't know, the desert isn't always hot. If that were the case, I might still be there. No, that's not true. I like the green. I need the rain. So scratch that. Don't hold me to it. But we're in the desert. It is freezing. I'm talking like single digits. And obviously, so we're there to camp, okay? Which we have the tools in which to do it. We built this whole thing for the back of a truck. And so we're camping kind of inside. It's not like a tent on the ground. So we're elevated. We have a bed. We built it. So it's good. It's sturdy and it'll be fine for these conditions. But we're carving the pumpkins and it's outside. We went to this place called the Devil's Cauldron and that place did not provide any warmth from that cauldron, but I don't know the natural phenomenon it is, but it's like, it's not a geyser. Oh my God. Maybe it's a hot spring, but it's one that's like too fucking hot. No one can go in there. Like you will die. You put your finger in and then it's just bone that comes out, that kind of thing. But it looks really pretty. Like the colors that are in there are otherworldly. So that's where we went to. We drove out to the middle of nowhere to go see it. We go to carve the pumpkins and it is so cold and I have pumpkin guts on my hand and the pumpkin guts are freezing and we just want to light the candle inside and the wind is blowing and we can't get it. And it was a rough time, but that was the one and only other time we carved it. And we went to do it with knives. Like no. So now I have a pumpkin carving toolkit. So if you or your significant other are advocating for the use of knives on pumpkins, get away from me. That's all I have to say. Get away from me. Or if you're in a similar predicament in which I formerly was, just take the initiative. Go to spirit. Don't try to persuade. Just do it. It's always better to, what's the phrase? It's always better to beg forgiveness than ask permission. Yeah, and first off, you don't even need permission. It's your fucking money. Go get it. Go get it. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, Halloween is over. And I'm so thankful. So thankful! It was a lot of work. So happy November. Happy returning to the fucking bullshit I like to do. Hopefully you also find a return of what sparks joy in your heart. I don't know what that is. It could be literally anything, as long as you're not hurting someone or yourself. I love that for you. XOXO. But that being said, it's also a weird time, and I would be remiss if I did not mention what was going on in Gaza right now. Sorry, total shift in mood, but we're at a point now. It was October 7th that happened initially, and I will probably remedy that today because I've yet to make a video of my own in addressing it, but I have been reposting videos of actual Palestinian people and people that have reputable news sources for this, because every time I've tried to sit down and actually do something in regards to conveying the numbers that have been coming out, I have been so busy this month that it's fully obsolete. It's fully outdated by the time that I get to a point where I can post it. So my best course of action since then is sharing resources, both for donating and educating yourself, and actual news that has been coming out as it's been coming out by reposting and sharing. But what's really interesting is seeing how few very large, I really don't know how much I like the term creator, but I guess for the sake of the context, it's like they're definitely creators and influencers to some capacity, but they're large internet personalities. And I have seen, when I say large, I mean millions of followers. I think one of them who has been very vocal, she has, if not a million, several 100,000. So she, and I want to say 3 others. So 5 people that I follow with several 100,000 plus have been talking about it, which is arguably too little. And I'm not saying that they need to be a news source for anything, but it's just so challenging because a lot of people feel hesitancy in speaking on it, which, by the way, for what it's worth, I stand with Palestine, and I will always stand with a group of people that are trying to resist an oppressor. That's really it. The colonial state of Israel is fully in the wrong, and I don't support genocide. Point blank, period. That's not hard to say, right? Like, that's just not hard to say. And it's weird to see people, or I guess not see people, stand up and call it that and be vocal against it, especially people that I had seen be really, really vocal during the Black Lives Matter movement in 2020. I was almost going to say 2016, because that's when I first learned and got involved with Black Lives Matter, but 2020 was really a jumping off point for a lot of people. And there are some that I've seen say in relevance to this, oh, I would actually rather prefer influencers and personalities to not say anything about it rather than give misinformation, which, yeah, we don't want to contribute to the spreading of misinformation or disinformation, but we're at the point now with what is going on, almost a month. It might be a month by the time this comes out, might be a month more, but since October 7th through now, what we have seen, not only is it so incredibly easy to educate yourself, there's absolutely no fucking reason to not. If you are hearing this, listening to this, watching this, you have access to the internet. You have access to a phone, I presume, if not a computer. Hey, Google, still free. At the time of this recording, still free. So for you to not be actively educating yourself, because, yeah, it's not something that is readily available. I remember when I first heard of the Free Palestine movement, it was when I was learning about Benjamin Netanyahu, and what a bastard. What a fucking bastard that guy is. And I did a deep dive. Like, that was my like hyperfixation for the time being. But when I was learning about it, my understanding was that it was the two-state solution kind of thing. I don't know, it just didn't sit well with me. And, you know, being an Indigenous person, but so far removed from the very violent acts of colonialism, it's it's not hard to say that you're against genocide, because that's what's happening. We are experiencing active ethnic cleansing, and we're seeing civilians in Israel say, I have seen so many videos of civilians in Israel say, yeah, there are no people worth saving in the West Bank, in Gaza. It's everyone there needs to die. Like, they have said, we're going to bomb and kill every last one because it's our right to that land. And I have been spreading those videos because those are just as important as to understand what people on the ground in Israel are thinking, in as well as, like, seeing families torn apart and people buried under rubble. Like, we can't even conceptualize what's been going on. And because I work in human rights, and that is one of my jobs here right now, and I've spoken to a number of people who are like Vietnam vets. I spoke to someone just the other day who's a Black Muslim Vietnam vet, and so he's got every intersection of commonality with the Palestinians, and it's really disheartening to see. And plus the whole act of, well, I don't think we need to be focused on what's happening over there when things in America are also bad. Yeah, America is not doing so hot. If that wasn't painfully obvious. But you know what could help? All of the money that we're using to back Israel and fund a genocide, that could be used here, because people that live in Israel are afforded very inexpensive healthcare and education and you name it. And you know what I would really love is if my tax money didn't help purchase, develop, manufacture, I don't know, weapons of destruction or white phosphorus, anything that would back or facilitate a war crime. I would love that. But don't take me as a news source for any of this, but I will link some people that I have been following and I think are very good at reporting what's going on, because my best thing is to just repost and share from the mouths of people that are most affected. Like one of my longtime mutuals, she left the internet for a while, and for a good reason, because it's a bad place a lot of the time. And I was wondering how she was doing at the news of all of this, because she's Lebanese and living in America. And she had a podcast for a while covering Swana news and stuff going on in the Middle East as far as human rights atrocities, which were a lot of what was going on. Femicide, she covered a lot of that, but she hadn't been uploading in a while and then essentially left the internet. And I was thinking about her a lot during the first couple weeks of October, and then she graced my For You page again. So she is someone that has been updating daily, and I know there's now conflict at the Lebanon border, so I'm hoping her and her family are well. But I will link the people that I've been taking in and getting news from. And I don't know, if you want to follow me on Instagram or check that, I've been putting stuff on my story. But I think the people that I will link will be a better resource. I'm still going to spread awareness when and how I can and where I can on whichever platforms, because thankfully I haven't been silenced to any capacity. But my account on TikTok has gotten so many warnings that my videos don't really ever reach over 300 views despite having 19,000 plus followers. So yeah, it's whatever, but I do what I can, how I can, and we'll link the people that can best, I think, give you the accurate news and how it's unfolding. But anyway, with that said, free Palestine. So On to the topic of today's video, which is liars. First and foremost, the IDF. But for real. Yeah, the IDF. Anyway, don't believe propaganda. I have been getting a lot of pro-Israel propaganda. It's thankfully shifted in tide, and I have gotten less. And I don't know what was the shift entirely, because when I say I was getting ad after ad after ad asking me to donate to Israel, and I was like, what about the hospital you just blew up? What about all the people that are still trapped under the rubble? Yeah, actually, what if you guys went over there? Do you cater to anyone in Gaza? Like, as far as, I don't know, needing medical attention. But yeah, IDF, first and foremost. But we had several people write in because I made that video and I was asking about that topic in particular because at the time, which as of now, several months ago, like I said, the first time I tried to record this was in June, end of June-ish. It was around June because I remember I was talking about having a happy Pride Month when I went to edit it, and I was like, this is so fucking old. That's what I'm talking about. It's the same thing with like my videos that I try to make in support of Palestine. By the time that I get it out, the numbers are already so far inaccurate that it's like, well, fuck, I should just amplify the voices of people that are on top of their shit, which is not me. And at the time that I asked this question of people, I was absolutely fucking livid because I had just had, okay, we got to come up with some fake names in case they stumble upon this. So Logan was telling me lies about Ashley. Okay. So Logan was out here being like, oh my God, I'm so concerned for Ashley. Like, Ashley is doing X, Y, and Z and just really entangled in a dangerous scene with substance abuse and blah, 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 blah. And I took Logan's word because I was like, oh, wow, this is a serious issue. And me being naive, I guess, thinking that Logan was my friend, thought, oh, okay, so this is coming from a place of genuine sincerity, and I love Ashley, and I want Ashley to be safe, so I'm going to go see what's happened, because in this exchange with Logan, and Logan had been telling me, yeah, Ashley is not doing well, is doing things that are incredibly reckless, endangering themselves and others, yada, 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 and I'm worried about it. And on top of that, Ashley hit me. Ashley punched me in the face, and it was a violent outburst, and I don't feel safe. I mean, I'm hurting right now, both emotionally and physically, and, pushed me back, and my back into the wall, and there was a rogue nail sticking out, and I don't know, and I was like, hope you got your tetanus shot, straight up. But then I was like, wow, okay, because this is so severe in what's been going on, and you seem very concerned with this, I'm going to trust that you as my friend and you as Ashley's friend are coming to me out of the goodness of your heart, out of a genuine place of concern. So I went to Ashley, and I heard what Ashley had to say. And when I tell you, it was absolutely not, anything even slightly congruent to what Logan had said. Yeah, sure, the basic timeline was there, the venues were the same, the skeletal structure of it, similar. But Ashley was telling me, no, I was pissed. And this actually all stems from the fact that Logan confessed unrequited love to Ashley. Once again, apparently this has happened a number of times, unbeknownst to me. And Ashley's like, Logan, I don't like you like that. I won't, and I will never Sorry. And Logan, butthurt about that, is now going and I don't know. You know how it's like some people just, they tell themselves a lie long enough. I guess that's the whole concept of being the popular phrase delulu. I guess that helps in certain aspects when you are being a go-getter and faking it till you make it, but it's also really fucking harmful if you're straight up lying about people's actions. So I don't know. I guess Logan actually maybe believed the things that were being said, or maybe was fibbing their little heart out and lying to my face directly, which who knows? Wouldn't be the first time people have done this. But yeah, went to Ashley. None of it was the same. And the real cherry on top was Ashley saying, I've punched people in the face before, and I work with my hands. After I have punched people in the face, my hands hurt, and they hurt for a while. It is sharp, and I feel it for days, basically, is what Ashley said. And I was like, you know what? Now that you mention it, because I was with Logan after this allegedly happened the night before, and I was like, oh my God, no, you're right. Logan didn't have a bruise, a scrape, nothing. And I know Ashley, and Ashley packs a punch. So there definitely would have been some residual marks if that were true at all. And so it's just like people, that's what I mean. So it's like lying is a crazy concept because, and my dad always said this phrase where, and I'm sure he didn't make it up, but it's like, there are three sides to every story: your side, their side, and the truth. And I was always kind of indignant of that because I'm like, well, no, it's really two sides because my side is the truth. Why do I sound like Mickey Mouse? But you know what I mean? I was always like, no, I am accurately portraying this event and I'm telling what happened in an objective manner because I think I'm as objective as possible. But that's what I'm wondering. It's like, do people that are blatantly lying, are they utilizing chaos magic and being delusional? Or do they really think that happened? It's such a crazy concept to me because I had a friend later down the road. Later? What do I mean? Earlier. Sorry, time isn't linear. The circles make me dizzy. Anyway, there was a friend I had in high school. Actually, we will call her Alex. Alex, it's still a mystery to me as to whether or not Alex believed what she was saying to a certain degree because I brought it up all the fucking time. We had I want to say like 2 or 3 all the time, but you know what I mean. I brought it up at a rate that was very unhealthy for a friendship because, well, and then I guess, you know, that lying was also unhealthy for the friendship. So who is to blame, Alex? But Alex, super cool person, right? Really fun. We did extracurricular like activities together at school. We were involved in a couple groups together and she was so much fun. Like, you know, those friends that are just like you click really like almost instantly and very well at like a deep level in that like you get each other's humor right away. That is so pure and almost magical, I would say. Like to be able to just vibe with somebody like that was immaculate. Like I have only encountered that in a couple people throughout my life. And she was one of them. But oh my God. So it was a group of 4 of us, right? With Alex being one of these 4. And if we were just the 4 of us, immaculate vibes, incredible night, great evening, great time, loved it, XOXO, would do again, 10 out of 10. But if you added anybody else to that equation, everything was thrown off course, like everything about it. I'm talking Alex's personality, the way she laughed, the way she conducted herself, everything was different. And then the way she would retell stories, I'm like, no. Like, I'm not gonna, don't get me wrong. Everybody has a moment of hyperbole, right? Where you are also, I absolutely I hate it. I hate it. When someone is telling me a fucking story and they get so tripped up on details that do not matter. Like, they could be telling the story and being like, oh my God, yeah, so last Tuesday we did X, and then if they sit there and fumble over the fact of if it was Tuesday, if it was truly Tuesday, or was it Wednesday? No, it could have been Thursday. I remember looking down on my calendar and I saw that the day started with a T, but what? I know it ended in a Y, but all the days ended Y. Like, literally, who cares? Because it doesn't matter. Tell me the point. Tell me the plot. Get to the punchline. It's not relevant to the story. So, if somebody does that, and I know, say, the Tuesday, they're like, oh yeah, so last Tuesday, I'm not gonna fuck with their flow of telling the story and be like, actually, it was on a Saturday. Like, because it's not relevant, so I'm not going to interject like that. And she would push the parameters of what was an acceptable moment to interject in stories. Like, she would, again, hyperbole is great for good storytelling, right? You want to keep your listener engaged, okay? I come from a long line of storytelling. Actually, my mom's a terrible storyteller. I love her, but Jesus Christ, she gets tripped up on her own words. So it's not something I'm going to fuck with her flow about, but she would push it and hyperbolize not just one aspect of the story, but all aspects of the story to where they slowly become less and less true. And I'm like, you're actually kind of lying about the whole event, and none of that actually happened. And you didn't say that because I was there, but you know, whatever, I'm gonna let it slide. And I did that for years. So like, we met in, I want to say sophomore year, and we were friends through senior year. But oh, good God, I honestly don't remember the exact ending of our friendship. If it ended with one of these fights or after graduation, we just sort of fizzled out. But she would get more and more escalated in her lies. And then certain things she would say were just so out of pocket. Okay. Like, we were having a team bonding moment, right? Because we were on a team together, and we were all hanging around in a hot tub, just chilling out at one of our teammates' houses. It's me, her, one that is in the group of four. We will call her Amy. Why do I pick A names? I just can't make it that far down the alphabet. So Amy was in the hot tub with us, and a couple other people, and they left to where it's now just Alex, Amy, and me. And we're sitting there. Amy and I are having a moment, a real heart to heart, and talking about, trigger warning, we were talking about, and, you know, making jokes, because that's what you do. If you don't laugh, you'll cry, about self-harm. Okay. And how we were on a journey to get better about it. Okay. And in that moment that she and I were having, Alex interjects and says, yeah, you know, it's so crazy what we'll do to ourselves when we're at a low point and we really just don't feel like we're worth it. Like, I threw myself down 2 flights of stairs and I broke both of my legs. And that ended my illustrious dance career that I would have had. They told me that I could have, you know, gotten scholarships and really made it far in dance. But the rehabilitation that I needed to do after I broke both of my legs, once again, because I threw myself down not 1, but 2 flights of stairs, 1 for each leg, because the first round of stair impact didn't do enough. It really made me think. After I wish I'd never done something like, oh my fucking God, dude. We're having a moment of Amy and myself of kind of being teary-eyed because we're having a a connection and empathy and understanding of each other and our struggles and what we're going through. And then fucking Alex shows up and is just like the most, I had glass bones and paper skin. Every night I lay awake in agony until my heart attacks put me to sleep type moment. Are you fucking kidding me? Be so for real, dude. Be so for real. She straight up, and let's just say this. Alex is the type of person who does not have, and don't get me wrong, I've been someone who has shown and exhibited this kind of behavior too. There are a number of people who do. So literally no shade in this aspect to Alex, right? But it's like, if you're not immediately good at something, you're kind of whatever about it. Do you know what I mean? Or it's like, oh, I have an interest in this. And then you pick it up and you're not immediately good. And it's like, oh, fuck, it requires work and practice and determination to get better. And it's like, I've lost interest. I don't want to do this anymore. That Alex's relationship with dance is very similar to mine with math. Okay. And for those of you who know me now and have known me in adulthood, you'll probably laugh. But when I was K through 6th grade, I was so far above my peers in math and most other academic fields. Like I'm a scholar. I did not need to study. I could read it once and I knew it. I didn't need to study. And when it came time to when I did need to study, because my peers had all caught up to me, I didn't know how to study. So that was something I had to teach myself later. But it's like gifted child syndrome, or a branch of it. And Alex was like that with dance. Yeah, sure, good at it, able to pick up the moves, but didn't have the building blocks, kind of like me with studying, right? Would I have been better at school or college if I had learned how to study at a younger age and then been able to execute it better? Maybe. I don't know. As of now, college made me want to die. So left it. It's gone in the past. No more. Also, low-key, a scam. In the States, absolutely not. But when it came to Alex, like, she was really good at dance until her peers also like reached a level in which they were just as good at dance. But because they had the building blocks to practice, to rehearse, and to really have the determination to get better, they then surpassed her, and she saw that and didn't like it and then backed out of dance. And so that's actually what happened. But because, sitting with yourself and being like, yeah, I just didn't have the determination, the gumption, the drive to do it. That's a lot harder than coming up with something that's so astronomically far-fetched to be like, yeah, no, it's an injury. I would have gone pro. I would have made it to the NFL, but I tore my ACL. So could have made it to the major leagues, but my rotator cuff really didn't want to hack it after college. And so she says that bullshit, but we're not Amy. Yeah, Amy. It's all these A names. I need to come up with another. Amy and I, we're not going to press that, because she and I, we're having a moment. We're in a hot tub. I think they're like, I didn't partake. I think we're also kind of slightly intoxicated at this point because that's what we did. But that's not something we bothered with at the moment. So we just let that lie. And then there was another point where, because we were all in bands together, we had this little room right outside where it separated the band room from the strings room. So all of the string and orchestral ones were over here, band and symphonic over here. And we were waiting for class to end. So we were in this little foyer type area. It's really small. It's like half the size of my room. So I'm in that room with Alex and this other girl in our band, Cassandra. And Alex and I are talking, and I was telling her about this guy that used to train me. I don't know if it's the right word, but his kids were athletes, and he wanted to train me to throw javelin, I think, because he saw me in a 6th grade field day and was like, you got this stuff, kid. So I did weight classes with him, and that was the first time I ever like did any kind of weightlifting, when I say I was so sore after that. But I was talking about him because he's a really impressive guy. And in that storytelling, I said, yeah, but you know what's even more crazy is he's half bionic. He was once hit by a semi truck, so he is like full of titanium. He's got a lot of metal in him. And then I said something or made a joke where I said, and thinking about that, God, it must be an absolute pain in the ass to go through the airport, you know? And fucking Alex was like, yeah, it is. When you have metal in your body, it is. And Cassandra was like, oh, do you? She didn't know better. Thankfully, I had been very seasoned in this aspect. And when Alex says something like that, you don't ask, you don't press it, because it's going to send her into a diatribe. And Cassandra, lovingly, love her. She just was so sweet, and she didn't know better. She didn't know Alex the way I knew Alex, the way the rest of us knew Alex. And she sat there and she was like, oh, do you have metal in your body? Do you know? And Alex goes into this story about how I wish I were being dramatic. I wish. But straight up, she just didn't have the vernacular to accurately state what really happened. But in her words, when I say really happened, that's with heavy air quotes because this is a lie. But she said that when she was in elementary school, she fell off the top of one of the play structures and hit her head. And when she went to the hospital, she had such intense brain swelling. In her words, they had to cut out a part of her brain. And in her words, that is why I don't learn as quickly as other people. Huh? What? What are we talking about? What the fuck are we talking about? You're saying you were lobotomized in 4th grade? In the 21st century, you were lobotomized because you had brain swelling? That's simply not true. And also, like with dance, she just didn't have the motivation, the drive, the desire. And again, that's fine. I'm not saying everyone needs to be excellent or at the top of their field. C's get degrees, baby. I mean, would I prefer someone like a doctor or an astronaut to have been top of their class? Yeah, absolutely. But let's be real. Alex was going to be neither of those things. So when she's like, yeah, that's why I just don't learn as quickly as everyone else, she dropped out of all of her AP classes. Again, no shade, because AP is rigorous. And if you just don't have the time or desire, don't do it. And it's fine, because it's for a college credit. And if you don't have any aspiration to go to college, you want to go to a trade school. I took AP classes, and for what? Stress? That's all it gave me, because because what was I going to do with college credit? College credit, shove it up my ass? Be real. So she dropped out of our AP history class, which admittedly was super fun. And that was because our teacher was absolutely amazing. A true gift. And she dropped out of that with another lie because she had to work at her PacSun job to support her family. Her family that was wealthy, capital W, wealthy. They were rich. Like, they had no need for her, what was it, $13 an hour PacSun money, please. And so another lie. But she's like, yeah, no, I also, that's why I had to leave, AP US, because I can't absorb it as quickly. She had no learning disability. And if she did, she had ample resources, ample, to be accommodated and to get tutors and to help. She just didn't have the drive. And again, that is fine. But why are you lying? And she's saying she was lobotomized in 4th grade? I guess, is lobotomized the correct word? It's not the separation of the parietal lobes necessarily, but a chunk of her brain gone. Because it was just like, oh, hey, it's actually too big. You got too much brain up here. You would really need to get like a little bit removed, because you got too much brain. So we're going to take a piece out. Okay, hope you don't miss it. What, like, what are we doing here, guys? And on top of that, she would just lie about, like, being related loosely to very rich people, because this was a city that had a lot of billionaires, a lot of millionaires, a couple billionaires, and wealthy families were very tied to this area. And she claimed all of these relations with them, which I don't think were true. Like, yeah, she was wealthy but that's because her dad worked, like, I want to say in law, and then her mom had alimony money. It's just like her dad worked, like, he was industry. They might have had, family money somewhere down the line, but she had no relation to these, like, I don't even know, like, the right word, these bigwigs in the industry that was really prominent in the city that we were in at the time. And I'm just like, bro, no one gives a fuck. No one gives a figgity fuck about, like, how rich a step uncle of yours is, because, like, look around, look me in my eyes, my giant eyeballs, and ask me if I give a singular fuck, and the answer is no. But she would put on this front to everybody all the time. And then what was so funny was that lie about her having a metal plate. Also, scar tissue. Let's talk about how fucking hard that is. I've got a scar on my clavicle, fucking 7 inches long. How many old? That is years old. And it is not going away. So if she had any kind of surgery on her head, also, like, I've had glass from the same accident that led to the scar on my clavicle. Glass shard just went into my head. It didn't obviously, like, break my skull or anything, but it fucked up the skin, and I have a tiny little bald spot. So if you had a massive brain surgery like that, don't you think there would be a hint of a scar? She had nothing. She had nothing like that. And then when it came time, because we would go on field trips, and there was one where we went to, for band, we went to DC to march in a parade, and she was behind me in line at TSA, and I turn around as she passes through the security checkpoint, and the detector doesn't go off, and she's like, oh my God, it doesn't work. It didn't work that time. Like, aha, I made it. Did you do whatever the fuck? And brother, I have metal on my body now. Hence the 7-inch scar on my clavicle. I have a metal plate, and that only held me up one time and I don't know why. I have no idea why. It held me up a singular time at a Miley Cyrus concert, because they did the little wand thing over me, and it went off, but I am wearing mesh. The only opaque things on my body are covering all of the legal necessities for what needs to be covered. The rest of my outfit, fully transparent. And so as they waved the wand over me again, I just showed them my scar tissue. I was like, I have a metal plate. And then they were like, yeah, okay, bye. That's the only time. Do you know the number of planes I've gone on? The number of security venues that needed to wand me? Please be so for real. And so it's just things like that. The lying is insane. And so, all that to say, I asked you guys to write in about the craziest lies you'd ever been told, because I'm like, after this issue with Logan and after dealing with Alex, and so thinking about it, I'm looking upon my time with Logan, and I'm like, are you a compulsive liar? Because there I think is a medical thing. With Alex, she also lied about like a cancer scare, which is exceptionally fucked up, because one of my besties, who is still a bestie to this day, her dad had actual cancer at the time. And I'm like, okay. And then we had what was called our school name curse, because a student every year would pass away. And so we were deemed to be cursed. And one of my best friends was someone that passed away one year, and Alex and him, not close. And she comes to school one day saying that she had seen her mom's friend the night before, who is a medium, and she was like, oh yeah, no, he came to me and spoke to me last night. And it's like, are you fucking kidding me? Could you be more insensitive? Could you be any more insensitive right now? One of our classmates is dead, and you were not friends. I don't know if you guys would even say hi to each other or even acknowledge each other's existence if you were to run into each other outside of school. I don't think they ever had any classes together. Like that, it just doesn't, because when you have run into classmates or even coworkers outside of your respected place of contact where you're like, you know what, I really, not only maybe do I not know you like that, but it's also like, I'm not in a setting in which I have to talk to you, so I'm not going to, and I'm going to simply observe you and pretend you're not there. That happened to me so many times, and that's why I advocate for moving out of your hometown, and if not your hometown, the town you graduated high school in. Assuming that you went to the same high school all 4 years, yeah, hey, you should move. It doesn't have to be forever. Just go meet some new people. See some new faces, get some new perspectives. But yeah, and I'm just things like that. Like I know hypochondria is something where I think there's like a spectrum. There's like an actual diagnosis, and then there's like the colloquial term for it, where it's like the people feel genuine pain because they think they have all of these ailments, and your mind is so powerful that they feel this pain, and the pain is very real to them. Meanwhile, you have people in, like I said, the colloquial sense, where it was between Alex and then this other girl who we joked had what's that called, where you get it wet and you wrap it and then it hardens. Oh my God, paper mache. We joked she had this giant paper mache whole production in her closet because every week she had a new cast or splint, or she was on crutches, or she had a new doctor's note for something. And I think it's because her dad was a softball coach and I played softball. So she and I were never on the same team, but we were like travel tournament team. So our parents forked over lots of money for us to be able to pursue this. So it was a very privileged thing we were able to do. And it's for people that take the sport seriously. And her sister played, and her dad was the coach. And so because her sister was older, I think it was just expected, like, oh, she has to play too. And she was not very good. And so I think that was her avenue to still be on the team and have that kind of connection with her dad, but not have to show how not good she was at the sport or have to, practice. Again, it's just people that are out here in positions where they just like don't have the drive. They don't want to do it anymore. And that's okay. You don't have to do this. You don't have to be good at everything. It's fine. But they feel that pressure. And I think that was hers and Alex's as well. It was between the two of them. They were just battling for who was the most injured. And it was always a losing battle. Spoiler alert. But it was things like that. So having that experience and that background with Alex, and then meeting Logan and seeing the degree and the severity in which I was being lied to, like just how serious the issues I was being lied to were, I was like, holy shit, dude. It's not something I'm doing, right? Am I attracting these people? Do other people have these experiences? How many liars do we have? Can I get a head count? Can I get a raising of the hands? So that's why I asked everyone to write in, because I just wanted to hear it. I wanted to hear what was what. Oh my gosh, there's one person that wrote in, a homie, friend of the pod, Joe, who actually, big shout out to Joe, because Joe got me the We're Not Really Strangers game, because I was borrowing one from someone before and they since needed it back, and Joe got me my very own, so big shout out to Joe. Joe and I send way too many TikToks back and forth, and this was sent a bajillion years ago. Like I said, here we go. Joe said, I had a BFF who was a Scorpio with BPD, so that's fun. And one time we were getting little snackies from the store and I looked at the receipt and saw that my iced tea didn't have tax on it, but his drink did. And I asked why tea isn't taxed, and he said the US hasn't taxed tea since the Boston Tea Party. And I fully believed him because it's kind of an insane it's the kind of insane shit the US government would do. And 100% true. I know if someone that I trusted said that, I would totally believe it as well. I mean, maybe I would look it up mostly because I'd want to see what else wasn't taxed if I was in a place that had sales tax, but love that. And I got some others on Instagram as well. It's also so funny thinking about the gullible people in your life. Joe, I wouldn't categorize as a gullible person, but I do have my cinematic soulmate, love forever, Ozzy Prescott, who co-hosts my other pod with me, I Know What You Watched Last Summer. So if you're into cinemas without the douchey film bros, check it out because we do shit there. But I'm also not only a co-host, but the producer, editor, publisher, all of the above. So be patient with me. But we like to watch weird movies, so check that out. Anyway, Ozzy, love him, but he is so gullible sometimes. Straight up, I can say the most out-of-pocket shit and but I say it in a dry level tone and he'll be like, really? But because I love him and I'm not gonna pull one over like that, I'm like, no, dude, be for real. Okay, but we got one. I will keep this anonymous, so I didn't get anybody's permission on this one, so I will keep this one anonymous. But they said, the worst lie I've ever been told have all been mostly from the same guy. We were 17, 18 at the time. I'm 34 now for perspective, so some time has passed. That's good. And while hooking up, he tells me that he has a condition and he's infertile, so I should not worry about wearing condoms with him. I seriously felt for him and never thought to question something so personal. Much like me with Logan, okay? So men can be dogs. Luckily, I never let my guard down enough, or I'd have been, I think they meant teenage mom. I didn't believe that he or anybody else, for that matter, would lie about something like that. Fast forward to how I found out. After 8 years and a huge hiatus, he decided to pursue me again, and because I probably had nothing better to do, I let him make it official. 17-year-old me would have killed for that, but I knew not to get too excited since I had dealt with his actions before. My gut was being safe, even though I did care for him. I was proven right. My aunt passed away suddenly that summer, and he drove me to the airport. I came back a month later, and he also picked me up. After that, he disappeared. At first, traveling with family abroad, which I knew and understood. Then radio silence. A few months later, he finally messaged me and and let me know that he was going to be a father. The timing fit like a glove. He knew I was out of town, got drunk with some girl, and ta-da, I just said congratulations. He's on his second son and definitely the biggest lie I've confronted as of yet. Oh my goodness gracious. This person also says, I've confronted his lies, just never this one. But if you do use this, I might just send it to him. Yeah, you absolute fucking dog. You sick bitch. That's so gross. That's so gross. And again, it's so weird when people, and I think that's why we believe it, because it is so personal. And you'd think, oh, no one would be this raw and honest and lie about something like that. Like the shit that I was dealing with Logan. And yeah, that's rough. I'm sorry, but I'm glad you were safe and you are not tied with this individual by any sort of biological offspring. That's a big win. So I love that for you, because yeesh. Oh my gosh. And then this one brought back so many memories. Okay. So this is one of my followers on TikTok, and then they found me on Instagram. Love Tiny Bee Queen. You're the cutest. I love you. And they said, okay, so when I was in second or third grade, I had some friends that convinced me that a demon with glowing red and blue eyes lived in the school ventilation system and was invisible if you tried to look for it, but it was always watching. I was terrified for that thing for like a week. And I had something similar. If you've ever read the book It, which I did at too young of an age, I was in 7th grade. But there is a scene in It where it comes up through someone's bathtub and through the drainage. And that, okay, obviously I didn't read the novel It in 1st grade, but when I was in 1st grade, I had a classmate who said that he had access to the sewer systems and therefore could go into people's drains and watch them shower. And what kind of 1st grader says something like that? His name was Ryan. Yeah, that's who. And fucking the sicko, that shit haunted me. I'm not even kidding, I put a washcloth over my shower drain for years because I was paranoid. I was like, yeah, take that, Ryan. But then when I read It, which I read later in the 7th grade, and I had just gotten over the Ryan potentially peeping on me, take a shower through my drain, and then I see this magical demonic clown being able to shapeshift and come up through people's pipes, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm not safe. And then it wasn't until probably so much later, I'm talking years later, I think out of high school by the time I was able to close my eyes in the shower because of reading It in 7th grade. Why is that? Oh my God, especially with the end and the kid orgy scene. Why? I shouldn't have been allowed to read that. That was not good. Also, why is that in there? Hey, Stephen King, answer for your crimes on that, because what the fuck? But kids are weird. Kids are weird, and they be telling lies about the most random shit. Oh my gosh, I also got several stitches to that video of me asking what was the biggest lie, and I will not entertain Christian rhetoric on my platform, but it was so funny because it was funny. I'm like, maybe I'm being insensitive. No, it was funny, and I laughed, and I will again, but someone stitched it, and it's so funny when people stitch the part that's not the question or the main thing that they are responding to. Because I made the snippet so very clear and so short, being like, what is the craziest lie you've ever been told? And the beginning of that video has me making fun of my own hair because I was laying down and I looked like Syndrome from Incredibles. And he stitched that part of me making fun of my hair. And it's like, why don't you stitch the part that is me asking the question? So then people that follow and watch your stuff will understand what it is without having to go elsewhere to understand context. I don't know. Maybe that's me being hypercritical. Maybe let's up what we're doing. Let's just elevate this for a minute. But I got a couple. That one in particular really got me, where it was like, in response to what was the biggest lie you'd ever been told, that Jesus doesn't love me. And it's like, okay, I don't have time for this. But then there were a number of others that were like, that he loved me, that he ever even cared. And I'm like, dude, I'm sorry. I wish the best for you. But this is not what I was talking about. I'm so sorry. Hope you're well. Hope you at least have the self-love going on, because that's first and foremost. But oh my gosh, but I forgot. I have another as well that I totally missed, which it's like me first talking shit about how someone's not stitching me correctly. I also had no idea for a long time that you could request, like, send messages to people that didn't follow you exactly. So I had this request sitting in my shit for so long, didn't even realize it. But basically, it was someone saying that they also experienced a lot of moments of tardiness in relation to my other episode where I was like, I'm late and it's a problem and it's chronic and I have tried to get better. And my friends now just lie to me about the start times to things. And this person said the same thing. And so after that, so that was sent to me when I made a trip down to my parents' house, it was sent before that, but I discovered it when I was down there. And so it reminded me, and I asked my mom, who, because I have talked to a lot of people about it, and we think it's like a brown person thing. Not to say that I am visually brown by any means, but my mother is a brown woman, and I asked her, and I said, Mom, are you late a lot? Or is that something that you struggle with or had struggled with at any point? And she was like, oh yeah, no, it was so bad. I'd be hours late to events. I would be showing up to parties as a lot of people are leaving, and we pass the threshold of the door and give a quick hi and bye as they exit, and I'm coming into the function. And I'm like, oh, this is news to me. I never cared to ask, but then she goes and expands on that and is like, yeah, oh my God. And especially when I was pregnant, oh, I couldn't move for shit. I was just real slow. Took me forever to get somewhere. And I was like, okay, so the genetics are powerful. Did I get any of the melanin? No. I got an astigmatism, that little rooftop thing. Oh God, it tickles so bad. I don't know if any of you know this, but like, I was told that it's because of the way our palates evolved, but it's like a native thing where I've heard it referred to as shovel teeth, but it's the way the roofs of our mouths are not smooth. They're all wrinkly. My partner has it, who's native. My sisters have it. I presume my mom has it, but it's something that I learned not too long ago when I was out in the Midwest protesting the oil pipeline. So I got that. I got my mom's tiny patellas, which I will never reveal to the public because mind your business. But, oh, that reminds me of the biggest lie and the craziest lie that someone submitted, and that was from someone on TikTok named Trash Cat, and they stitched my video and was talking about how they received free education because they, for a long time, believed that they were indigenous. And then they find out years later, after having received benefits for being indigenous and allotted for indigenous people, that they're not indigenous. And that is not too uncommon. So I wanted to talk about that as an indigenous person. So Trash Cat is from the Appalachian region, right? And that area is Iroquois land. And so what is very common for people to have this lore with, it's like, so during the land allotment, it's during the 1800s, there was the Dawes Act, which I don't believe it's called like the Land Allotment Act or something, but it was spearheaded by, I think his name is Henry Dawes, and he was the original writer for it. Essentially what that did was, in an attempt to assimilate and what's the proper word? It was created by a bunch of quote unquote progressives. So people that, to be progressive in this era meant to not, outright full genocide people, but, it's a slow genocide. It's a killing of culture. It's a killing of a way of life. It's a killing of the practices and ideals of a people that have been here for much longer than you, and bringing your European ways and pushing them onto an indigenous population. So what the Dawes Act did was allot land to heads of households. It was like a certain quantity for a head of a household, less for a single person, less for an orphan, but they allotted all of this land to people in the tribe. And then the remaining could be sold off to white settlers, right? So they did this with I hate using this term, but historically it's the 5 civilized tribes, which are the Cherokee, Choctaw, Chickasaw, Creek, and Seminole. And I know they did it with the Nez Perce tribe out in Idaho. I believe they're in Idaho, smoke signals. Hey, Victor. If you get it, you get it. But that is what happened. And basically what it was because tribally people lived in community. And that can't happen because what is America founded on, baby? Capitalism. Capitalism and the puritanical belief that your work makes you worthy both in society and the eyes of God. So that's what they wanted for these savages that they were encountering. And so that's what these progressives are doing. I remember, what was her name? Her name was Abigail Fletcher, right? Hold on. Let me fact check that. Because this bitch, fucking A, dude. Abigail, we're fact checking in real time. Alice Fletcher. I lied. Alice Fletcher. Okay. Brother. Okay, so she went out. She did other tribes too, but I know her as having done the Nez Perce tribe, where she goes. She has a friend, comes with, and she reads the law, and she says, hey, we're going to take all this land that you have, that you all live on, and hunt in and reside with. We're going to take it, and we're going to divide it up, and we're going to atomize you guys. We're going to civilize you into farmers. That's what they wanted. They wanted everyone to have their own and be a farmer. What's his name? Charles Dawes. He said something along the lines of, like, they had a meeting with these progressives on the East Coast, and that meeting, he said something along the lines of, they have come, they being natives, have come as far as they can, and said that the way that natives live, there was no incentive to make your house better than your neighbor's. And he wanted to center selfishness. He used the word selfishness in this quote. Look it up. Charles Dawes, they've come as far as they can. He wanted every person, he wanted suburbs, basically. Oh my God, he would absolutely cream his fucking pantaloons at the thought of suburbs. Or maybe not, because HOAs exist and you can't really be that different or better than your neighbor. But either way, he wanted competition amongst natives. He did not want community. So the idea of the land allotment was to itemize everyone and dispel any idea of community or tribal authority, right? And so during this time, there were a lot of white people that were coming in and either claiming indigeneity to get this land allotment so that way they didn't have to pay for it when it went for auction, or and potentially get, quote unquote, better land. And so that's where like a lot of lore comes from when it comes to families being like, oh yeah, we just refused because during that time of the land allotment, it was not only the ability to get the land, you then were given citizenship with like US citizenship. And that actually really sucked fucking donkey dick for a lot of specifically Native women, because it wasn't until the early 60s that all 50 states sanctified the right to vote for all Native people. So it's like we went from having so many matrilineal societies, like my tribe's matrilineal. So women are in authority. And so it went from that to then being a patriarchal society and a white society to where it was just shafting all around. And then so they divided all this land, right? Alice, in particular, I just know she went over there and she read the Dawes Act, and then they were like, hey, we don't like this. We don't want to do that. That actually is not going to work for us at all. So, sorry. And then she's like, actually, it's the law and you have to obey it. And so then she proceeds to divide up hundreds of thousands of acres. And it's like the white saviorness of it all, because she thinks she's doing what is best. It's so crazy to think about. How about you listen? How about you listen to the people in which it's affecting? Because maybe you don't know what's best. It's absolutely infuriating. Plus, in the time that all of that land was distributed to natives, a couple years down the line, because like we weren't familiar with this kind of economic system, all that land ended up, I think it was 2/3, especially within the Nez Perce area, was no longer in native hands. Like that land is not theirs anymore. Oh my God, it's just so infuriating. So look up that time frame. There is a lot going on, a lot of moving parts, especially within different tribes and regions. And I know mine, but Trash Cat specifically is in that area of the country, like Iroquois Nation stuff. So that doesn't surprise me. There are many others that have that same kind of lore, I'm sure. I remember being in school with somebody who claimed to be very distantly related to Pocahontas, and I was like, you're Italian. I was like, I've met both your parents. Her grandparents, just straight from Italy. Girl, you're Italian. Stop what you're doing. And yeah, and I was like, I know you're not. What tribe is she from? The Powhatan? Like, you're not affiliated. Like, stop it. And so it's really sad to have pretendians be so prominent. But I mean, Trash Cat, that was unintentional. And you know, if that story has gone on and carried over so long in a family, some people straight up might not know. Like they might not be able to differentiate or be able to know that is not true. And it was told to them, and so they tell it to others. And I think that can be an innocent enough of a mistake, but I follow someone on TikTok named Michelle who is really vocal about outing prominent pretendians. There's someone out in Canada right now who is like a famous singer, and she has been outed as a pretendian because she finally went, I don't know, they found records, and she didn't ever visit a tribe until she was 22. And then that's the tribe that she's claiming identity with. There's also a tribe in Canada. A tribe, heavy air quotes, heavy, because it is established in 2011. It's on the eastern coast of Canada, and what's absolutely insane is like the stats for it are like the population compared to, and like the ratio of the population of the town it resides and then the number of people in that tribe. Let me see if I can find the name of it. I'm just going to look up fake tribe Eastern Canada. The first thing that comes up is pretendian. Yep, pretendians. It starts with an M, I believe, but that's where I believe the term $5 Indian comes from, because there are a number of tribes. Let's actually look that up too. Hold on. This is research hour. Okay. I'm right. Love to see it. $5 Indian means for falsified documents declaring them to be native. Dawes rolls. These so-called $5 Indians paid government agents under the table in order to reap the benefits that came with having Indian blood. See? That's what I'm saying. People have called me a $5 Indian. One individual online, like, absolutely insane. I was like, can we chill out? Like me sitting next to my mother, like, it's so wild to me. But yeah, that's the term for $5 Indian. And so it's, you know, when people pay the $5 and they get the falsified documents, and they could potentially get the land that comes with it, because it, and you know what's crazy too to think about, if you were indeed a quote unquote $5 Indian, you are then able to, because you're familiar with how capitalism works to a better degree in that settler colonial sense, you would then be more fitted to perform exactly what they wanted. I say they, meaning the Westerners. And so you were more than likely able to keep the land because a lot of natives ended up selling it and ended up in destitution and just there was a whole society built outside that just wasn't reflective of anything that was familiar. And basically capitalism ruins everything. That's what I'm saying. Okay. But I want to find this fake tribe because when I learned about it, which was a couple months ago, my jaw was on the freaking floor, dude. Okay, Qualipu. Oh my god. Okay. So, the people that live in Newfoundland, so Eastern Canada. Oh my god. The population there is around 500,000, and the government of Canada had expected band membership to be similar to the membership of the Federation of Newfoundland Indians, around 5,000 people. Instead, around 100,000 people, or equivalent to 1/5 of the population of Newfoundland, applied to become band members. After the first round of enrollment, 23,000 of 30,000 applicants were accepted. Although not yet functional, the band became the second largest by membership in Canada. This put the enrollment process to a halt, and a supplemental agreement between the Federation of Newfoundland Indians and Canada was formed in 2013, because this shit was formed in 2011! The rest of the outstanding applications were put on indefinite storage. In 2013, applicants organized a new group, the Mi'kmaq, to lobby to continue the enrollment process. That's insane. So that's where the M that I was thinking came from. It's MI''KMAQ, First Nations Assembly of Newfoundland. Look this shit up. That's insane. If we're talking $5 Indians, holy shit. All that to say, trash cat. First off, I think everyone deserves free education. Period. And you did not intentionally take that opportunity away from an actual Indigenous person when you later found out that that was not true. So I do think that it was an honest mistake. And thank you for sharing, because that's a crazy lie. And one that unfortunately is not uncommon. It's so strange because, it's always like the taking part in the harm to a community until you could reap the benefits. It's like the Kardashians with being black. And then one day they were like, being black just isn't cool anymore. So then they let their tans fade and stop braiding their hair, I guess. They're just so weird. So speaking of, that's covered our lies for today. And I think you've heard enough of my voice. So I will give it a rest. All that to say, though, look up all the celebrities that have asked for and thanked Genocide Joe Hard R. Biden for continuing to back the Israeli genocide they're perpetuating in the settler colonial experiment that is Israel and the destruction of the Palestinian structures, schools, hospitals, and people that are over there. One of them include the Jenner family. There are actually a great number of people on that list that are saddening. One was the only white man I think I had trust left for, which was Jack Black. Let's close that out with that list, actually. So, in an open letter to Biden posted Monday, the group of performers, producers, and entertainers and entertainment industry honchos thanked 46th president in his, quote, unshakable morale, conviction, leadership, and support of the Jewish people who have been terrorized by Hamas since the group's founding over 35 years ago. All right, let's talk about that. When did the Nakba happen? 48? And I've seen so many, I'm not, look it up. The IDF, Israel government does not even care about their own people. They do not even care about the Jewish people. They don't care about the hostages. They're using their own people to perpetuate this hate. I have seen these people that are just residents of Israel talk about how they want the second Nakba, as if the first one ever really ended. All right, let's see. I want to see this list of celebrities so we know what's what. Wow. Holy shit, it's long. Let's go with the ones and the names that I recognize. First, Will Ferrell, Jessica Biel, Tyler Perry, Jesse Plemons, Jerry Seinfeld, Jeff Goldblum, Tiffany Haddish, Taika Waititi, Jason Segel, Jack Black, Seth Meyers, a lot of Scots, but I don't know any of these Scots, I'm going to be honest. Sarah Paulson, Gwyneth Paltrow, Rita Ora, as if she's relevant literally at all. Ewan McGregor, are you serious, dude? Come on. Gal Gadot, but I knew from the jump she was a Zionist. Like, I'm talking way back in the day. And that's when I saw her Zionist tweets, and I saw some shit that she had said, and I was like, I didn't know anything about this, and this was pre my deep dive into Netanyahu. I was like, what's Zionism? And I was like, that doesn't sit right. That does not sit right. And you know what's crazy? I learned about Zionism from what is a Zionist take, but learning of Zionism through a Zionist lens, and I still thought, that's not right. I don't like that. Anyway, Eric Andre. Yeah, that's upsetting. Eugene Levy, Paul and Julie Rudd. One of the other white men I trusted, I guess. No one is safe. David Schwimmer, Octavia Spencer. Fuck. Orlando Bloom, Olivia Wilde, Noah Schnapp, Chris Rock, Brooke Shields, Bradley Cooper, Bobby Brown, Lea Michele, Lana Del Rey, really? Dude, Ben Stiller, Katy Perry, Carly Kloss, Justin Timberlake. Haven't you done enough, Justin? Like, can we just chill the fuck out? Britney's memoir just came out. Can you just chill and stop being terrible for a second? Bella Thorne, Aubrey Plaza, Juliette Lewis, Julie Rudd is on here again. Is that the same as Paul Rudd's wife? Did you really have to sign it twice, or did you just add Paul's name? Interesting. Amy Schumer. I mean, are we surprised? She's terrible in every other aspect. Jordan Peele. Can we please? That one's upsetting. Adam and Jackie Sandler. Adam Levine. Go make bad music. Haven't you done enough? John Hamm. And Julia Fox. And Julia Gardner. Those are all of the ones I recognize. So, take a look at the list for yourself. I actually didn't see the Kardashians on there. That's all right. They spoke enough about it on social media. And also, we should really stop making them famous. So this is a reminder that we live in an attention-based economy where your time, your thoughts, your energy, and what you focus on is worth money. Stop giving in to people who are going to use and abuse it, capitalize on it, and then, I don't know, fund a 20-minute private jet ride across the city of Los Angeles. Like, let's stop that. Let's stop that. I want regular, everyday people to be famous. There's that one TikTok going around where it's like, I hope the next generation of celebrities are just like regular people. I want to know what bitches in Wisconsin are doing. Love that. Love that. That's what I want. That's what I want, because I'm so sick of the ostentatious and the overly gaudy lifestyles we've been projected to seeing, because it's boring. It's boring and tired, and we're done. So remember, free Palestine. History doesn't exist in a vacuum. There's a long context to this. So there's no excuse. Educate yourself, because the biggest liars of all, no matter how many Alexes or Logans we encounter, will always be the people in power, the bodies of government. So talk to your fellow man. Go touch grass. I love you so much. Hoping for better days to come, and I'll let you know what the next topic is going to be. Keep an eye out for it on TikTok and stuff. But it's coming. All right. I love you. Mwah. Bye.